Welcome back to another episode of The Space, a mindfulness podcast for everyone. It's Thursday, and we are talking all about you, with a mindfulness tip to feel like your best self, even when life is chaos. Who here experiences driving anxiety? You are not alone. Driving anxiety can range from reluctance to a full-on phobia. According to research, 20% of adults experience mild driving anxiety. It could feel like this. You feel anxious driving on a highway. You feel anxious in the fast lane. Don't even talk to me about roundabouts and parallel parking. I'd rather go home. The problem is, any kind of anxiety can have an impact on our driving performance. It can also impact us socially. We don't go somewhere because we don't want to drive. That could be driving through the city or even quiet country roads. If you're someone who tends to ruminate on a problem, the car can really leave you vulnerable. Have you ever noticed you generally worry more when you're in the car? We're a sitting duck in a metal can. Most of us drive on autopilot, which lets our minds wander into worry. Add in screaming kids or traffic, and it's a recipe for anxiety. So how can we help ourselves? Guess what? Mindfulness is the key. Of course, we don't recommend meditating whilst you're driving. Safety first, open your eyes, people. You can safely practice mindfulness whilst you're behind the wheel. The main goal of mindfulness is to be present. One definition of suffering is a craving for a different state. If you're suffering behind the wheel, what different state are you craving? You want to be out of the car. You want to be at your destination already. You want a better parking space. How can you mindfully accept where you are without changing anything at all? Step 1. It starts before you start the engine. You're in a rush. You're already late. Don't worry. This will only take a second. Notice the feeling of your bum on the seat. Is it warm or cold? Is it firm or soft? How do your pants feel on the cushion? Is it different to yesterday or the same? This is mindfulness. Step 2. Don't let it happen by chance. Put a prompt in your car which reminds you of the best version of yourself. It could be anything. Maybe a car air freshener thingy that smells like summer. Or a keyring made by your kids or your mates. Our writer Amy has a little Buddha near her windscreen. Remind yourself of your capacity to feel calm and happy, even in a shit pile of traffic. Step 3. Acknowledge your vulnerability. Once you know the car is a vulnerable place for your anxiety, you can accept it. And you don't have to fear it. It's amazing how we accept certain feelings in certain conditions. Our heart beats fast at the gym, but we don't fear it. We feel scared watching a movie, but we don't fear it. We feel nervous before a date, but we don't fear it. Okay, so you can feel anxious in a car. It's just a funny little quirk. It won't last forever, and you don't need to fight against it. Step 4. Get out of autopilot wherever possible. This is easier on a short drive than a long one. Keeping your eyes on the road, try to notice one thing you've never noticed before. The colour of that tree. The shape of the top of the bridge. How the light hits the car in front of you. Curiosity is the antidote of anxiety. Have you ever noticed it's almost impossible to be curious and anxious at the same time? Try it. This is where we should say, a driving phobia can be awful. Please do seek help from a specialist if you're unable to drive or it's stopping you from moving forward. For the rest of us, you can drive with less fear. This is our green light for you to let it go. Space out.